I'm Guy.
And I'm Kari.
And together we are sowing the seeds of consciousness. So today we visited the Paradise Valley Nature Reserve, quite close to where I live. And it was a great opportunity to observe yet another place in nature, which was fantastic. So Kari, what did you happen to observe about today's visit to the Paradise Valley?
Well, what I observed most of all was the contrast between nature and humans' activity, both constructions and people. We were sitting at the waterfalls, and I was looking at, there was 7, 8 young girls with their mobile phones, cell phones, taking pictures and selfies and post and all these kind of things that they do, while the birds' song and the beautiful jungle and the water were totally unrecognized. Unobserved, exactly. That's quite interesting, because nature gives us so much energy, and nature balances us, and nature it stabilizes. It does all these wonderful things to our body, like lower blood pressure, blood sugar, calming down stressful brains. So the question is, did those girls get those advantages that nature gave us? And I like to believe they did, but still they didn't observe that. They weren't present while they did. What they were present in, as I saw it, was cell phones and pictures, and they had fun and they were together. So they were in a completely different reality from mine. And that's how life is. That's how we exist, coexist besides, and we live our lives side by side and create completely different reality. And we still believe that's the reality.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think in unison with what you're saying, the fundamental thing that stood out for me was, well, first of all, you when driving to Paradise Valley, you drive along a main arterial highway that leads between Johannesburg and Durban. You end up in Johannesburg, of course, and to get there you have to come off the highway, down and around and back and back and back, and then when you end up on the walk, you end up in this beautiful gorge. It's basically in the jungle. And then soaring above you is the bridge that you've just come across to get there. It's it's a double 4-lane highway bridge. So it's got these massive pillars that soar up into the sky, and it's an incredible sensation to be there, because here amidst all of this lush vegetation and nature and birds and insects and what have you, is this sort of emblem of busyness and frantic city life, people going places, hectic, totally unobserving of the world around. And it was quite interesting that as we were driving back, because I've been quite a few times to this place, and as we were driving back, I said to Kari, okay, we're driving over that bridge now that we've just, and she was like, what, where, you know? So I've driven over that bridge many times, and what you're not conscious of is that beneath you is this wonderful paradise, this little river, waterfall, amazing vegetation. It's literally like a jungle, and we just go driving on to where we're getting to without even a passing thought as to what was there. So for me it signified our daily lives. Most of us go through life like this. We just go through, we go to work in the morning, we come back in the afternoon or in the evening, and it's the same route, and we're completely oblivious as to what is going on around us, what is changing every day. And that, to me, with regards to language, is so critical, because we, in order to change our lives, in order to better our lives and lifestyles, etc., we need to be able to observe differently. So in other words, if we observe our language differently in terms of what we are taking in around us, we can then create new stories for ourselves, etc., as to what, according to what we're seeing, because the more we see, the more we interpret, and the more we interpret, the more possibility is offered up for us. So I think that's a really critical observation. And then, as Kari was saying, that there was these girls there, and they were just, okay, they were having fun, but they were just completely absorbed in taking selfies. And yeah, you know, I think even since I was a child, if I went to a place like this, and I would be in awe of what was going on around me, and playing in the waterfall or whatever it would be. Of course, there wasn't technology like this when I was younger, when either of us were younger, and you know, so that's kind of the danger that we can fall into, the trap of making this technology so important in our lives. We revolve around it as opposed to it forming an add-on to our lives. You know, Kari and I both had our cell phone cameras with us, and we were taking pics, but spent most of the time actually contemplating things like this. You know, this juxtaposition of man-made objects versus nature, and how they can work together. So yes, I think the message in all of this, actually, now that I think of it, is that yes, let's have technology. It's important. We need progress and so on, but rather let it work for us as opposed to it working us. Yeah. So I think that's our observation for today, and hopefully we'll have a few more while Kari is here visiting me in South Africa. We have a week left.
Yes.
So let's make the most of it. And Kit Kat has been around, as you might have seen, just making sure that we are remaining constantly conscious. So I think we have his stamp of approval that we are sowing the seeds of consciousness. So thank you. And anything else that you'd like to add, Kari?
No, I was just thinking about the perceptions again. Back to perceptions, because these girls, their perceptions about nature is affected with these technique devices they use. So the close. I'm from Norway, and we have lots of nature. It's normal that people take their kids out early and out in the woods and up in the mountains and out go skiing and in the boats or whatever. And it's create some basic understanding about how nature is and how we live in nature and how we use nature and how we can recuperate in nature. So I was thinking, what does those cell phones do with that knowledge, that understanding? Because it is deep in ourselves. We have this longing for nature. We have this. It's attractive to us because we
identify with it.
Yes, we are a part of nature. So yes.
Yeah, we'll hopefully continue to bring you more of these observations in the future. So thank you for joining us, and goodbye.
Yes, thank you.